Yeah, I love it.
Well, if this kind of weather goes on much longer, we could make a real dent in those big snow piles.
You know what? That's very true, and a lot of melting going on. We got to keep that in mind here because we don't have a lot of Arctic air in the foreseeable future. Maybe a few days below freezing. It's November, or not November, it's February after all. Kind of reminds me of November in a way before the big snowstorm, but it is going to be turning a bit milder by the weekend again. Meanwhile, right now we got 33 degrees in Dickinson, northwest winds at 21. So already the wind is backing off, and again, clear skies back through Montana and western North Dakota. Some of the higher winds now shifting into central North Dakota and gradually subsiding into the evening. Still some occasional gusts up and down the 83 corridor, about 35 to 40 miles per hour. We've got temps. Most of us are still in the 30s here. A pocket of a little bit lower temps below freezing in Williston. You're at 28 degrees. Meanwhile, here toward northwest North Dakota, as mentioned, 28 in Williston, but then 27 in Crosby. Tioga at 28, 34 in Sydney. So back into eastern Montana, back into the 30s. But a clear sky for the most part here in the northern plains. Looking pretty good. And again, the key, the wind is finally subsiding. Tomorrow, we're back into a breezy day, not to the extent that we had for today, more like about 20 to maybe upwards of 30 miles per hour. But right now, some of the higher winds again up and down the 83 corridor, central, eventually toward eastern North Dakota. I think some of the higher winds realized around Jamestown probably the next few hours. All the while, we look to the west here, the wind's a lot less. We've only got 6 mile per hour winds in Glasgow. That will continue moving toward the east here during the evening. Decreasing clouds. We have a clear sky right now in Montana, the western half of North Dakota. We'll see decreasing clouds here continuing to advance off toward the James and Red River valleys. Might be a little touch of fog into the night if there are any areas completely sheltered from the wind. By and large, I don't expect much fog here for the overnight, but just a really nice day. Again, the key, less wind, but still breezy here for our Tuesday. West winds between about 15, 25, maybe 30 miles per hour, but more sunshine. We broke out in the sun this afternoon, but despite a few clouds in the morning, I think more sun and then clouds can be expected. So our hour-by-hour forecast tonight, 8 o'clock, look for temps for most of us here will be in the 20s. And again, this is more like our typical highs given the time of year. It is going to be a fairly mild overnight with no sub-zero temperatures expected for the foreseeable future, with the wind eventually backing off here again from west to east during the course of the evening. Here's the 8 o'clock snapshot for tomorrow. Teens over eastern North Dakota, still 20s back farther toward the west here. So again, our lows for tonight more like what we would expect our highs to be here into early February, and then our highs more like what we would have in March. Again, we're not dealing with Arctic air, but Pacific air here with that west wind between about an average of 15 to 30 miles per hour. Not a bad looking Tuesday on the way. What about the precip prospects here for the next 7 days? A lot more for the Gulf Coast up through the Ohio Valley. Once again, not much for the northern plains here. Maybe a little bit on Thursday, a chance for some snow showers as the front does move through. And you guessed it, that will bring wind as well. Chances for minor accumulations of snow, but then the weekend back to above normal temps and above freezing.
I'm not going to complain about that.
Nobody complains about this, I don't think.
Thank you.
Yeah.